Welcome back, boys, and it has been a long time since I posted a video, and I apologize. It's just one of those, I've been busy, and adding the video stuff into it hasn't, it hasn't been super easy for me, but I want to continue documenting it, looking at it in a different perspective, and, basically here I am saying, I'm back, and I got a video that I'm really excited about, maybe not making the video for it, but the actual things about it in life, type of deal. Because I'll have to start. Oh, I don't know how to start this one. Essentially, I bought something new, so I'm not going to drag the video out at all and lead up to this big whole thing because there's a lot to go over in the video, and I mean, you're going to be able to guess what it is anyways. But I bought a new motorhome. That's right. We made an upgrade. But before we get to this, we could go back to good old faithful. And I want to go over this one. That's my original. Say, if anyone has been out to events and has seen me either pulling in or at events, they are, going to recognize this setup. The boat's not on it. It's at the garage at the moment, but jet ski up front. This is a 21-foot Georgie Boy Cruisemaster that I pulled out of a field for $450 6 or 7 years ago now. It needed a trans and it needed some work. The upper bunk area here was water damage. I kind of rebuilt that, and it took a journey of its own in terms of how we got to where it is now and why it's been actually really useful. But this thing, even though it, it looks worse for the wear. Oh, almost forgot to say, it's a 1979 Georgie Boy Cruisemaster. So, she's not new in any way. Like I said, pulled it from a field, put a trans in it. I used it for the first 2 years. Kind of local track, just back and forth to Evergreen. And she worked okay. Really struggled on hills, had a small block Chevy in it, 350 cubic inch with a turbo 350 behind it. One of the things that was broken when I bought it was a trans. Found a $100 trans. That's how I drove it, like I said, for those 2 years. With a trailer on it, she struggled. It would be flat to the floor going up some of these bigger hills, and by the time I got to the top, it was 20 mile an hour. So I did what any logical person would do. So I LS swapped it. That's right. Pretty simple, I want to say. 6-liter LS with a 4L80. Bunch of, general towing mods. It's got a Brian Tooley Stage 2 truck cam, towing cam. Trans has a shift kit in it, and it's got a bunch of coolers and, deeper pan just to be able to help it live while towing. So once I did the LS swap, this thing, was good for adventures and longer trips. And then honestly, we've been just using it for the most part, put new wheels and tires on it. Got, because it was so old, they came with 16.5 wheels, which make it harder if, you say you have a blowout on highway, on a trip. To find a 16.5, it's going to be easier to find a 16. So change those to some stock 16s for, a newer dually. Put tires on them because the tires that were on it were real bad. And then have been rocking them since. And for us at the track, the simplicity of something that is this old, that half of the things work, honestly, just having a motorhome at the track is amazing. It's not big, and we honestly have usually 4 people in here. Back bed for me, kitchen table bed for a buddy and his girlfriend, and the bunk bed that comes down for another buddy. So it gets cramped in here with 4 people. They always bring a cat, so usually our local trips are 4 people and a cat. We have stuff shoved in every cubby. Once I started selling merch and that, we got merch stuff there. The bathroom is just merch storage. We took out an oven to put in a microwave because we were going to use a microwave way more. Toolbox for tools. Like I said, everything it has, every square inch of this thing is stuffed with stuff for us to, be usable and nice at the track. So one of the good things was AC worked from the ceiling when I got it. Fridge works. Never made the water work, never made like the propane heat work or anything. To me, it was too old and it was too far gone to want to try to get the propane to work. The water and all that, I'm sure we could have done. I would have just had to rewire or replumb with some PEX lines, some leaky links or leaky connections. So, and then the next thing is basically the generator, which bolted onto the bumper, which has seen its better days. This was on my list of things to fix, but she's got character. The generator cost more than the motorhome did, but that thing has run, over thousands of hours. It's how we power everything. I'll turn it on before I leave the house. It powers fridge and AC and stuff like that. And then when we get back to the house at the end of a weekend, I'll turn it off. And then the iconic jet ski on the front. So trailer, 16-foot trailer. Jenny is basically 20 feet. So she just fits on there. So to bring the jet ski anywhere, I had to make a new mount. And I already had a motorcycle mount, and I just had to extend it to be able to fit the much wider jet ski. So this will come into play later as well. Also to do with the jet ski, I had to add plow lights up here, which I don't love the look, kind of hate it, but I needed to be able to see because the regular headlights, all they do is hit the side of the jet ski, which is bright white, reflects off, and goes into the windshield at night. So you can't see pretty much anything. And then underneath, I just have some fog lights down low. So that's something that's going to have to get changed here very shortly. I've been through quite a few exhaust setups on this thing, which if you go back on the channel, there's probably like 4 videos just on exhausts on this. This one has been holding up. It is basically stock Suburban 2500 muffler, which is what, the drivetrain and everything came out of. And I've been happy with this one. It's quieter, but it's not quiet. So this has been my view for tens of thousands of miles. Everywhere from, I'm located here in PA. We've done Canada trips, Maine trips, North Carolina, Southern Virginia, out to Ohio. So this thing with the LS in it has put on, 10, 20,000 miles already. And it, they're motorhomes. Like, you'd make the trip and then you stay and then you come home. Like, you don't drive them every day. So when I bought this thing, it only had like 30-some thousand miles on it. So I think it's still under 50,000 miles total. It's just, she's old. But these gauges are not original. Hell, I even still have the plastic on them. Because when I did the swap, I mounted the gauges, ran out of time, and then I haven't wired them. So I haven't had gauges in this thing for, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is that the LS has been in. I just use GPS for speedo on my phone, and same with like distance, so I know how much, when I should stop to put gas in it. And honestly, I haven't had a problem with it. Sure, there's some things that aren't ideal, but it works. And like I said, the gauges are here. They just need to be wired in, which hopefully this thing will go to a new owner at some point here shortly, and they'll get to enjoy it just like we did for fairly cheap and having a place to sleep at the track. Because this thing is, what I put into it and how much money I saved in hotels, absolutely no complaints. But let's take this thing on a quick test drive. Get yourself a sound clip, because this thing is not quiet. She's old. There's creaks and rattles and bangs and all kinds of stuff when you're driving. And it's one of those, if you drive a newer vehicle, like if you're on a long road trip, that it makes it easier. So the old stuff that, takes a little bit more effort to drive, by the time you get to the track, you've definitely used up some of your energy, and you're not as relaxed as you could be when you get there. So that is one of the downfalls of this thing, but this thing has been an absolute unit, and I've loved it, and it has helped me and friends, you know, spend plenty of time at the track getting me there and back. So, quick recap. 1979 Georgie Boy Cruisemaster, jet ski on the front, 6-liter LS with a 4L80 with a decently quiet exhaust, back to, and it's a 21-footer. And then I tow my 16-foot car trailer with Jenny on it with tools, gas, tires, all of that kind of stuff. So now, what we've been waiting for, what I'm excited for, the new. So, as you can tell, new one, a bunch bigger. This one is 31 feet, so 10 feet longer, but I think it's also 10 feet wider, and then it also has a slide on the other side. So the space, like standing in this thing, is completely different than standing in the old one. But this is one of the reasons I picked this one. I'm not a Ford fan of like the V10s at all, and that's kind of what the standard chassis for a lot of these was. So we found a Chevy chassis, 6-liter LS with a 4L80. So exactly the same motor trans setup as the old one. I'm an LS guy. I like them. I prefer working on them, and I'm familiar with them. So I'm pretty confident, and it was one of those, when you look at the numbers, the Ford V10s make 305 horsepower, and the LS 6-liter makes 300 as the factory, you know, advertised number. So 5 horsepower difference to go to the V10, and that's not worth it for me. So, you know what? Let's go inside. Power step. That's an improvement. And then look at the space difference. There is so much more room for activities. And then this is the slide. So the table and the sofa move out, which gives us another like 2 feet of room in here, which, I mean, the space now is so much bigger. The bunk area in front for that buddy is a lot taller, plenty more room there. The driver area is very similar, you know, in terms of layout and all of that, but it means I have working gauges. Everything's newer. It's a 2007 Winnebago Access. So, said, based on a Chevy chassis, everything up here works. I need to update the radio because I'm a Bluetooth and, you know, navigation kind of guy. I don't like listening to the radio in commercials. But you get a bigger area because the front's a little bit longer, which means the dog box is smaller. So you get more leg room here and there, which is an improvement from the old one. And like I said, just in general, we didn't have a sofa. We just had the dinette. I think this is going to be for the buddy and his girlfriend. We don't have to put the table up and down every day. The kitchen is bigger because I think all of that would be extra compared to what we have. Microwave, working stove and oven, TV, fridge. One downside is the fridge is the same size, which that's a little annoying, but all the extra room we get, it's not like it's gonna kill us at all. So, but then the next big upgrade is shower and bathroom. And compared to the old one, I think the old bathroom and shower was just the size of the shower in the old one. So we're going to have a number one only rule other than in emergencies, which will be nice because, like I said, we didn't use the bathroom in the other one. It was just storage. And then for me, my master bedroom, which means I get an actual full bed instead of just essentially that against the back wall. Bed, storage, I think the water tank is right underneath the front side of this. Place to store things and clothes. I think there's a TV. You can put TVs up here as well. But just the difference in size and length. AC, works. It's all ducted in the roof. Wow. And then just everything working, like water tank working and having hot water heaters and being able to use the gray tank and the freshwater tanks and having the propane tanks work. Like, all of that stuff is going to be a much needed upgrade from what currently doesn't work. But it's physically, the old one is physically a vehicle that has air conditioning, beds, and a fridge. And when you're doing it simple, that's all you need. This is going to be like living luxury, even though it's already, 20 some years old and not what these, new Class A's that are absolute mansions inside with marble and everything else. This is honestly all we need. It is perfect. So, only unknown so far is how it's going to 100% tow the trailer. Like I said, previous owner, he towed a 20-foot enclosed with it, but with four-wheelers and stuff, so I think weights are going to be similar. I'm going to have to spend some money anyways for, the little setup stuff. Like, it has a hitch, but it's way taller than my old one, so I'm going to have to buy some things there. And then, so, storage related, this is under the master bedroom. And this is massive because I had no storage under the other one. So to be able to have all of this, hopefully be able to, keep some things easier back here. I may install a toolbox. That way, I can get to everything easily. Only thing I don't want to do, which is a problem specifically I found it with, the old motorhome, and now I'm sure it'll still be problem with this, is trying to put weight not back here behind the rear axle. The way they make the frames and the extensions, I don't love it. I had to reinforce the old one a whole bunch. This one is longer of an extension, and then, like I said, I just don't want to stack so much weight back here. So we're gonna find some place, see if I can use a couple of these smaller ones up front for like a spare diff and like some of the heavy parts like that. Okay, back over to the old one. So yeah, this overhang, and then that's as far as back as you get to the wheels. So that whole distance, anything that's in here is all getting put basically on the hitch as a pivot point. And when this one is so small, it wanted to lift the front wheels. You took a lot of weight off the front, which is where honestly the jet ski in the front was kind of beneficial. Now, I've been going back and forth because I've been spending the money and was on that kick. I was like, you know what? I'm going to look for a 20-foot trailer, which I think I could essentially have the boat loaded on the trailer the same way, because the boat hangs over here a lot. And I could put the jet ski on the front of the trailer and have the boat hang over. Like I said, this is 16 foot, a 20 foot, I would just be gaining those 4 feet to put the jet ski on the front. But the problem is then all that weight is still in between back wheels and trailer wheels. So, one, I don't actually want to spend the money to find a 20-foot open deck trailer. It's also gonna, add some more weight because the trailers physically get bigger. So, I'm gonna stick with the iconic look, and we're gonna mount the jet ski to the front of this one too. So this is also definitely a thank you to one, needing this, because there's things wrong with it, but there's honestly nothing, that wrong. There's nothing that wrong with the old one that I would have had to absolutely get rid of it. If I was still doing grassroots events, just having fun, I really wouldn't even be looking into buying something bigger. But all these bigger trips that I've been doing, I want to get farther up and down the East Coast. I'd love to get farther, inland, kind of make mid-pond and Tennessee and out towards Michigan and stuff like that happen. This is going to make it much nicer. It's not going to help with gas mileage, but again, I don't have to pay for hotels when I get to where I'm going. So in my head, I've done the math, and it evens out in terms of the extra gas I'll spend on this versus towing with a gas version of a pickup truck. So I can't complain. And like I said, I want to say thank you to everybody that basically has helped make this happen. I've been selling a bunch of merch and stuff like that, and this definitely hasn't paid for it, but it's definitely helped. And I'm probably going to be using the merch stuff to help pay it back, you know. So keep tuning in and buy some merch, help me out, see me at events, or reach out and tell me events you want to see me at. But for this one, like I said, I'm super excited. This is going to happen pretty quick, these 2 weeks, to get basically the new tow rig all fitted out and ready. So for this one, this is your captain out.